G'day guys, or girls if you're interested in tech. Some are, believe it or not. But man, I just had the worst fault ever on one of these detectors. It was an absolute doozy. This one came in for full upgrades, mods. I haven't finished it yet. It needs variable damping put on it as well. But when I put everything else in there, I was going to say, we'll do a before and after video on this particular detector. So we did a before, and I haven't published it yet, but I was going to tag it with the after on the video. And what happened is I went to use the variable frequency that we put into these detectors. It stayed still. It didn't move, and it was making noises like it was, but there was no frequency or frame rate change or anything to do with the transmit, receive, and everything else in that area. And scratching my head. And first of all, there's a chip there, which is an AD820. It's a FET op amp, and it's configured up in the frequency control. And I had a look at the output of that, and it wasn't moving. And I said, oh, what's going on here? This is interesting. So I checked the inputs, and there was nothing happening on the inputs either. And I said, because it's in circuit, I thought, well, it's part of the stabilization of the oscillator circuit. It basically keeps everything right in the middle and rock solid. So I replaced it. Made no damn difference. I'm going, okay, what's going on here? And then I'm nothing coming from the inputs. And because these boards are all white painted, they're very hard to find anything. So that's why we have to do that and strip all the paint off and use it as a reference board so we can track out all the little wires on the circuit board and find out where the problem is, trying to loop through the whole board. And the trouble is, there's wires under components. So it's really difficult to do. To do it properly, what you'd have to do is strip the whole board down, take all the components off. There's automatic ways of mapping all the pads and stuff, how it's done. But you could always ask the Chinese if they're feeling helpful. But the board in general is very interesting. Now, someone somewhere in the history of these boards labeled one little part an ADC. And I always thought, I never ever investigated what it did. And I'm going, what the hell is going on with this board anyway? So I'm tracking through, and I eventually got to the top part of the board, and I found a point on another detector, because I had to go and actually measure the wires, that the voltage was changing when you hit the tune button. I said, that's where it's done. And on this board here, it wasn't budging. So David was here, and we were going, well, it came up to this ADC, and I said, well, why would it be an ADC on that line? So it makes no sense. So I actually meticulously worked on it and worked out it was an LTC 2262, which is a DAC, right? Someone labeled them in the history of the universe as ADCs, and it's actually a DAC. So then it made more sense, right? So I'm on the chip, I'm looking at it, and there is a pile of digital data going on the inputs and nothing coming out on the outputs, right? And as you can see on there, that's where it lives. So I replaced that, and bang, it all come to life. So be wary of anything floating around saying, "Oh, this part is what it is." It's not. It's not. It's everywhere. It's labelled as a analog to digital converter, when it's a digital to analog converter. I kept thinking that's the wrong way round. It's illogical, and yeah, it was illogical. It was the wrong way around. It was a totally different device. So anyway, now we can add the variable frequency components, so we can make it sensitive to small gold, big gold, deep gold, whatever, and yeah, get it back to the customer who has a deadline of wanting it tomorrow. So yeah, that's what happens. We're just trying to get through all the work. It's yeah, just oh god, David's brought more stuff. Gee, I haven't even turned my back, and I just looked, and there's more stuff up there. So yeah, wow. Okay. So anyway, that's the story with that. I just thought that that's a handy thing to know, that if you're working on these detectors, that could catch you out of beauty. So, and also, if you have a look at the way MindLab do their frequent, well, everything, you got to remember, everything's LC oscillator on the transmit side for low phase noise, and basically really good controllability. And the way they've done it with that AD820 there for stabilization is rather clever, the way they've done it to stabilize the oscillator. Very, very nice work. They don't, they really, most parts of their detectors, they do not go the cheap way of doing it. They actually do put a lot of effort into their detector design. You know, it's, you have a look at some detectors out there, and they got you know things. Let's have a look. The whole input stage and amplifiers are all NE5534s or something, and you look at the MindLabs, and they go very low noise. Um, you know, it there's things that what they do, and I'm not going to say a lot about what they do, because they probably like to bury it in their circuitry, because they do have an edge on it, other detectors, current detectors out there. They have an edge over them. What do people use? They're all using, for on the goldfields, they're all using MindLabs. They don't use, well, some use other detectors, but most of them are using the MindLab detectors, and that just speaks for itself, doesn't it? So yeah, it was a very, very tricky fault, especially when you don't have schematics for these detectors. I only have partial schematics, and without schematics, it's like saying, someone says to you, can you go and drive to this town interstate you never heard of before, and we're not going to give you a roadmap. That's what it's like. You need your roadmap, else you're not going to get there. Because if you don't have a schematic, how do you know what goes where and what is included on that system? You just don't know. And to make it 10 times worse, all the part numbers are ground off, but lucky we know what they are. Otherwise, you'd really be up the what creek. So yeah, that's an interesting one anyway. Yeah, everyone out there, as far as I know, they all mention it as being an ADC. Do not think that it's not. It's a DAC. So yeah, that little DAC controls the oscillator, where it sits in basically it's used for the frequency tune, moves it up and down, and then obviously stabilize it. Has a back bit of input, probably some sort of dip detection to try and put it on the lowest frequency. Like I say, I'm not going to go and spend a day trying to nut that out and then work it all out. But I know the functionality of it enough that we know how it works. The biggest thing was being told by other people that something was something else than what it was, if that makes sense. Anyway, all good fun. So, like I got to keep working. I've got tons of things to do. I've got a very interesting day tomorrow, guys. I don't know if I can actually say that, but yes, there's a lot of things going on in the background. You may guess what it's about, or you may not. But yeah, things are going to light up like fireworks soon, and you can find out all about it. Yeah, probably on the other side of Christmas. It's going to be very interesting indeed. Very, very educational. Very educational. Anyway, I can't say much about it. You can probably guess it, but yeah, you watch and see. There's going to be very, very, very. I don't know if it'll be funny. It'll be interesting. I'll just say interesting at the moment. We can discuss the other parts of it after the event. Catches.